Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Kind of sounds a little bit like the conversation you just had about wanting the spotlight. This is what I said about it, and I love it. I want to see them going at it. I want to see them playing physical. I want to keep this racist crap off the court where it belongs. If some jamoke wants to talk like that, then go home. I don't want to hear it. I love this rivalry. I am here for every single second of it. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, it's not a rivalry. Not when you lose about 35 points.
That's true.
It's not rivalry. Indiana Fever's on a different level than the Chicago Sky. Let's get that out the way.
Stephen A. Smith says the idea of a rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is overblown, and he's not alone in that view. Dan Patrick also highlights that it's Clark, not Reese, who's driving the surge in WNBA attention. Analysts consistently point to Clark's exceptional skill and dedication, suggesting that much of Reese's spotlight stems from her association with Clark.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal.
So why does Angel Reese call this dynamic historic? And how does her role as the so-called villain play into it all? Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment on who you think comes out on top, because Stephen A. Smith's take is about to get even more blunt.
Secondly, as much as we love Angel Reese because she is special, she's not Caitlin Clark as a player. Caitlin Clark is on a different level. We just have to own that. Angel Reese can rebound the basketball. She's a damn good player. She's got a bright future in the WNBA, but Caitlin Clark is next level. That's number 2.
Stephen A. Smith's main argument is clear. Caitlin Clark is playing on an entirely different level, and it's not just about flashy highlights. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe my channel for more awesome content. Thanks. He points to her record-breaking NCAA tournament performance and the fact that she became Iowa's all-time leading scorer as undeniable proof. For Smith, Clark isn't just talented, she's redefining what people expect from a college basketball star. He highlights Clark's elite court vision and her ability to deliver under pressure, traits that already make her look like a seasoned pro before even settling into the WNBA. But Smith doesn't stop with the numbers. He digs into what really defines a rivalry. It's not a rivalry when you're getting blown out by 35, he says, referencing the Chicago Sky's lopsided loss to the Indiana Fever. To Smith, that kind of result isn't just a bad game. It's a sign that the competition between Clark and Angel Reese is more narrative than reality. When one player is consistently outshining the other, he argues, it just doesn't qualify as a real rivalry, no matter how much buzz there is online. As for Reese, Smith doesn't deny her skill. He calls her a very good player, but is direct about the source of her fame. Much of it, he says, comes from her connection to Caitlin Clark.
Number 3, Caitlin Clark's or Angel Reese's popularity in large part is attributed to her behavior towards Caitlin Clark. Because when Caitlin Clark was busy taunting opponents a couple of years back before LSU smacked Iowa around in the national championship game or so, it was Angel Reese that was clapping back at Caitlin Clark once it was Caitlin Clark's turn to have her comeuppance. And that's what made Angel Reese famous.
According to Stephen A. Smith, Angel Reese's popularity stems largely from her viral moments, especially her high-profile interaction with Caitlin Clark during the NCAA championship game and the social media storm that followed. He argues that much of Reese's fame is rooted in that behavior toward Clark, not in consistently dominating on the court. Smith's point is clear. Going viral isn't the same as building a legacy through sustained performance.
But the eyeballs on the WNBA really have to do with Caitlin Clark. Now, you might, if you stay long enough, maybe you'll see something or someone there you go, okay, I'm entertained by this. But there's nothing wrong with admitting that you watch a sport because of one singular person. People watched golf because of Tiger.
For Stephen A. Smith, that's the key difference. Caitlin Clark is rewriting the record books, while Angel Reese is riding the wave of attention that viral moments bring. Smith emphasizes that Clark's mindset and approach to the game set her apart. He describes her as laser-focused, a player who puts in the work, leads her team, and consistently delivers when the pressure is highest. You can see it, he says, in how her teammates rally around her, in her game-to-game consistency, and in her clutch performances on the biggest stages. In contrast, Smith doesn't see that same level of sustained dominance from Reese. While he acknowledges her talent, he argues that her reputation is built more on headline moments than on a proven track record of taking over games.
These are not players of the same stature. They're not it. Like
And that's not an insult to Angel Reese.
No. Caitlin Clark's different, right? Like I think that's something that a lot of people just need to come to terms and understand here is much of the why Caitlin Clark and not other people is that the other people are not Caitlin Clark. Like strictly talking about this is basketball. She's it.
And Stephen A. Smith isn't the only one making this case. Dan Patrick backs him up, saying the recent surge in WNBA attention is largely because of Caitlin Clark, not Angel Reese. The eyeballs on the WNBA really have to do with Caitlin Clark, Patrick says, making it clear that she's the driving force behind the league's growing popularity and media buzz, not just for her team, but across the board. So if Clark is operating on a different level, why is Angel Reese embracing this rivalry and calling it historic? Let's take a look at her perspective.
But there's nothing about her game that's really interesting that is going to translate to people who may not watch the WNBA, may not care about basketball. She is a social media star, and she has capitalized on that. And maybe she embraces being the villain. But make no mistake about it, Caitlin Clark is the reason why everybody has an opinion on what happened in that game.
Angel Reese isn't backing away from the spotlight. She's stepping into it with purpose. She's well aware of the talk labeling her as the bad guy, and rather than avoiding it, she's embracing it. Reese has said plainly, "I'll take that role, the bad guy role, and go down in history for it." This isn't just a reaction to public opinion, it's a calculated move to control the narrative and turn it into something larger than herself. For Reese, playing the villain isn't a drawback. It's a strategy to keep women's basketball in the headlines, even if it means becoming the lightning rod for criticism.
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming. The Maryland.
Reese has made it clear that all the buzz really began during the national championship game. That's when she famously fired back at Caitlin Clark with the "you can't see me" gesture. It was a viral moment that instantly put her in the spotlight. Reese knows exactly how that moment elevated her profile, and how it sparked a wave of attention for women's basketball as a whole.
And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too. And I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person.
Reese is candid about leaning into the villain role, and she's doing it intentionally. She recognizes that even negative attention keeps people watching. "Negative things have probably been said about me," she admitted. "But honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is." In her eyes, if being cast as Caitlin Clark's foil brings more visibility to the sport, then it's a price worth paying. She's willing to be the player fans love to hate if it helps grow the game. For Reese, this rivalry isn't just about two athletes competing, it's about creating something bigger for everyone tuned in.
There is a magic bird element, obviously, to these two players. The problem is Angel Reese ain't no Magic Johnson.
Good player, not Magic Johnson.
But here's where things get complicated. Is Angel Reese's self-made villain persona a savvy branding move or a distraction from what should be a true on-court rivalry? That's where Bomani Jones steps in. He argues that the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese narrative has grown into something far bigger and messier than basketball. According to Jones, the atmosphere surrounding this storyline has become almost unbearable. The constant drama, hot takes, and online arguments are overwhelming the actual game. He points out that the conversation has drifted so far from what happens on the court, it's easy to forget what drew fans in to begin with, the basketball itself.
Catchings. I mean, there are so many great players, but maybe they didn't capture your imagination. Caitlin Clark has. People watched. Now everybody wants to have an opinion on this. And that's where it clutters, muddies up everything that the women have tried to do. They've been there. You just haven't noticed.
Jones draws a vivid comparison to the legendary Bird versus Magic rivalry, but with a modern twist that highlights the current situation. He imagines if Bird and Magic had played in the same conference, saying society would have exploded. That's how intense and charged the Clark versus Reese matchup feels online today. Instead of simply celebrating two stars pushing each other to greatness, the conversation has shifted toward picking sides and stirring up controversy. Jones sees Clark as the dominant star and Reese as her foil, but the way fans discuss them now goes far beyond the game itself.
What is your rivalry? There is none. And I do appreciate a good rivalry. Like baseball had the Red Sox and the Yankees, which wasn't really a rivalry because the Yankees always won until the Red Sox won. Now you have a rivalry. Like the Giants and the Dodgers, rivalry. But you don't have many of them. And I love to have that where you tune in because it just feels like it's more than just a game. There's tension there. These guys don't like each other. These women don't like each other. I'm fine with that. It's competition.
Race and perception are central to this conversation. Jones raises the question of whether a black player could have reached the same level of mainstream fame as Caitlin Clark, and is skeptical there's a true comparison. He highlights that Clark's rise isn't just about talent. Her race influences how she's received by fans and media alike. Meanwhile, Angel Reese faces criticism for simply being unapologetically herself, often receiving harsher reactions. Jones argues that the way fans respond exposes deeper issues around expectations and double standards in sports.
Spinning, right? Like this thing that happened with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese this last time, it was a basketball tussle between two people that I don't think like each other. Okay, I don't think that's so big.
Jones highlights a key moment that illustrates these dynamics perfectly. Remember when Caitlin Clark gave the walk-away glare earlier in the tournament? Fans praised her for being fierce and competitive. But when Angel Reese responded with a similar gesture, and things escalated with a push, a rebound tussle, and Alia Boston stepping in to break it up, Jones says the reaction was like watching World War II unfold. This wasn't just about basketball anymore. It showed how the same actions are judged completely differently depending on who's doing them. That moment became a flashpoint, revealing how quickly the focus shifts from the game itself to debates about respect, personality, and race.
I can't stand you. I can't. And the biggest reason I can't stand online WNBA discourse, it's hardly ever about basketball. Even when it doesn't involve these two. It just does not feel when I consume the things that I see. And maybe I'm hanging out in the wrong places and maybe I'm hanging out in the wrong circles. That's why I'm coming here asking y'all for a little bit of help. It hardly ever seems to be about basketball.
All this attention has definitely brought new viewers to women's basketball, and Jones acknowledges the spotlight is brighter than ever. But he worries that the constant focus on drama and conflict could actually harm the league over time. When the story centers on controversy, the real game gets lost. Jones says he wants to appreciate the sport for what it truly is, but the non-stop noise online makes that nearly impossible. So, while the Clark-Reese rivalry is drawing more fans, it's also pulling the conversation away from what really matters, the game itself and the athlete's talent. This is where the impact of all the drama becomes clear, and it's a question every fan will need to consider moving forward.
Do you think that Angel Reese is very calculated recently with what she's doing? And I'm complimenting her. She made a lot of money NIL-wise her last year at LSU. And it feels like she's embracing this role and leaning into it, and even leaning into any criticism off her comments because she knows it's going to pay her back because she can't make money on the floor in the WNBA.
No matter how you spin it, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have transformed women's basketball in ways that can't be ignored. Stephen A. Smith says their combined influence is pushing the WNBA forward, while Dan Patrick credits the recent surge in attention mainly to Clark, even comparing her impact to what Tiger Woods did for golf. That's the kind of spotlight we're talking about. So instead of getting caught up in rivalry drama, let's recognize how both players have permanently changed the way we watch women's basketball. Drop a comment. Who do you agree with more, Smith, Reese, or Bomani Jones? And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth WNBA analysis.